Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the PRL America's Tier 2 Round 5 here in Kota. Here we have a couple of drivers very eager to get on track. Apparently, looks like Leclerc would like to set his quickest lap first, so let's see what they can do today. Big updates here in the league in that our league leader, Galt Palmer, has moved seats up into Tier 1, therefore leaving the championship wide open, with Pedboy currently taking control, with Guitar Man Khan and TD Silva right on his heels. Looks like we have the majority of the field out onto the track right now, looking to get an early lap, given that we're only in short qualifying today. There may be one or two guys, depending on what the weather forecast is, that may want to risk trying to start on mediums, but they will have to give up track position in order to do so. Let's go on board with Leclerc as he starts the first flying lap of the session. Clipping the apex there very nicely. It's very easy to immediately lose a few tenths in this lap, taking too much speed into the first turn. Here we have the tricky S's. Amazingly, didn't get himself invalidated despite going off the track completely at one point. He stays purple in Sector 1 for now. And there it is, there's the invalidation. He'll have to back out and try again. Let's have a look at Guitar Man Khan starting his first flying lap too. Let's see if he can keep it valid through the first sector, which is by far and away the trickiest portion of the track. Very clean through the S's. Hopefully Guitar Man Khan can put in a good performance this week after an unfortunate result last week, as he has a 30-point deficit currently to make up to league leader Pedboy. Several yellows on track as people back out of laps and let other cars through. No serious looking incidents, it appears. Tilmo setting the benchmark, immediately beaten by Estrada, who goes 8 tenths quicker. Here we have the times tumbling down. We already have Why Not Beast into the 32s. A 32.8 is a very strong time here in this group. And there is Guitar Man invalidating on the penultimate corner. Alright, right now we have Why Not Beast in control of quality with a 32.8. It will be very interesting to see if anyone can come close to that time, as it looks like the rest of the field is filtering into the 35s. Let's stay on board with Bishop's Finger for a little bit. He's unfortunately had to miss the last couple of races due to connection issues, but we're very glad we were able to get him back in racing today. Mercedes have needed some representation in Tier 2 Americas, and we're glad that we have it back on track. We also have ourselves Charlie Bacon as reserve today, filling out the Mercedes team. It's good to see two Mercs back on the grid for this week. Let's go on board with Bishop's finger as he takes the long sweeping right-hander that leads into the final section of the track. This is supposedly a corner that took inspiration from Turn 8 at Istanbul. Fantastic little corner that, and they were trying to emulate it the other way around here at Kosa. Bishop's finger immediately climbs up into P3 with the first lap in the 34s with a 134.7. Here we have Nolnik on the lap, and it appears that he just had a purple Sector 2, though let's see how that translates into his final lap time. Nolnik has been picking up some momentum over the past few rounds as he's found his pace and consistency. That was rewarded, of course, with a fantastic podium last week in Brazil, and unfortunately we have an invalidation on the last corner, so he will have to go again as this lap too won't count. Let's have a look at Guitar Man here as he is on an out lap looking to put a time in here with the second run of the day. Guitar Man take it very slow around the last few corners of the warm-up lap. Let's hope that he hasn't lost too much tire temperature before getting started. It'll be very important to have as much grip as possible through the tricky first sector here. A little bit wide from Guitar Man there into turn one, taking a little bit too much speed. Let's see if we can recover through the effort. Guitar Man clipping every curve there as necessary, keeping it safe but very, very sure and very valid through that third sector. Bishop's finger doing his best to get out of the way by sticking to the inside of the turn. Hope that didn't compromise Guitar Man's run through to this sharp turn here. Guitar Man setting a purple sector 2, although only the game knows whether there was actually purple. I know that Codemasters loves to hand out a purple sector to any and everyone. Can he make it stick in these last couple of corners? Yes, he can. Keeps it valid there into the final turn. And what do we have here? We have a 133.2, goes P2. 4 to 5 tenths behind Why Not Beast currently. Let's have a look with Leclerc as he goes through Sector 2, with the game giving him another purple, not surprisingly. Let's see what he can do given that he invalidated his first run as well. Ooh, almost invalidates it, but just keeps it within the bounds of the track, and through the final turn, we are going to see a 33.1. Now he takes over P2, just a few tenths behind Why Not Beast. Still, no other driver yet to crack the 32s yet. Let's have a look at our reserve for the evening. Charlie Bacon, it looks like he's on an invalid lap currently. Looks like he will have to go again to put a time on the board. It looks like we have a theme here of all these laps being thrown out, in which drivers will have to watch out for warnings and time penalties in the race. It looks like that may play a large factor, assuming the group can stay together, and that's always possible with the use of the safety car. Let's see if Charlie's going to try and put in another lap immediately, or if he's going to try and go in and come out on a fresh set for a final run. And unfortunately, he invalidates that run too, so it looks like he's going to have to rely on another set of tires to get him a lap time, unless he has more fuel on board to extend this. Here we have Division, who was luckily enough able to make it through the update. He is on track in time to be able to set, hopefully, a competitive lap to start up front with his teammate Leclerc. Alright, let us see what Division can do on his flying lap. Division currently sits in P9 in the standings with 10 points, although his race pace and performances have shown that he is capable of more. Let's hope that he's able to put it together today and add to the points tally to hopefully claw his way up the table as it gets more and more competitive towards the end of the season. Nice clean sector 1 there. Looks like he's just out of range to be able to get slipstream from the car in front. Looks like they may not be on a hot lap themselves. Let's see if Codemasters awards him a purple sector 2. Not this time, unfortunately. Let's see where his lap time lands him after what may be his first run of the session. Here he comes, Division around the last corner as he catches up with the Ferrari and puts in a 1:35.3, landing him in P10 currently. Let's have a look at how Mad Messis is doing, as he hasn't put a time on the board yet, but it looks like he's coming up to right now. We have ourselves a 34.9, but unfortunately invalidated right before the end of the lap. And the next lap is also invalid. So he will have to see if he can get back to the pits in time to be able to come out for another run. With less than 4 minutes left in the session, there's a chance that he may be cutting it very, very close, if at all. Let's check in with T Silva as he goes very wide out to the DRS straight into that tough left-hander. Looks like he is setting himself up potentially for one last flying lap, having invalidated the lap he's currently on. And he's dipping into the pits potentially with some damage to the car, or lack of fuel as the reason why he did not take another lap there. That effectively ends T Silva's session with a strong time, but one that can potentially be pit by a couple other drivers before the end of the session. Let's have a look as Leclerc is 2 tenths up on his first sector. He's currently in the hunt to potentially poach a front row starting position. There it is. There is the infamous purple middle sector. However, he is 6.5 tenths up on his current best time. That would still be enough to take him to pole as Guitar Man pips out Why Not Beast by 200ths of a second for pole position as it stands. Let's see what Leclerc can put in, assuming he doesn't invalidate on the last corner. Here we are. It is a 1:31.8, goes fastest by almost an entire second. Now that will take some beating unless other people have hooked up their laps just as nicely. That was a fantastic lap from Leclerc. That going P1. It looks like Guitar Man Khan is on a slow lap, potentially building up for one last flyer before the session is over. Let's check in with Tilmo in the Haas as he's on a flying lap himself. Through the tricky first sector he goes. Navigating the curbs there very well. That's a very easy spot to spin out on, definitely in the race with a full fuel load. Drivers who are pushing hard on a quali lap have the chance to make an error there too. There's a purple second sector, although we can take that with a pinch of salt. He's currently 1.5 tenths up on his previous best time. He'll need to find a little bit more in the tank if he's to move up the grid on this current flying lap, and it looks like this will be his last, with 5 seconds left in the session to get another lap started. Here we have Tilmo coming up to the line, and he will set a 1:33.9. 3 tenths improvement, but not enough to move him up from 6th place. Pedbo having to weave his way through some traffic. Looks like might struggle to set an improved time if that is the case, as he runs that wide for the last turn. No improvement. Stays with a 1:34.6. That is your championship leader starting in 10th place right there. It's a very interesting prospect. Here we have Division in what looks like his final flying lap. There's the official invite. Let's stay on board with Division as he is the last person out on track, currently setting a flying lap. The sun really beaming into their eyes going down that DRS straight. He is 7 tenths up on his previous best time, looking to move up the grid potentially into the 3rd or 4th row. Can he keep it clean? Ooh, that is a wide berth through that corner, but he keeps it valid. And he was across the line slightly slower than his previous best time. Fortunately, that is it. And it has not said that he's done with the session, so it looks like we may have to run this the whole way through until the time counts down. Alright, here we have your starting lineup for the USGP, once it comes up on the screen, of course. We have Leclerc from Guitar Man on row 1 with Why Not Beast and T Silver on row 2. We have the returning Bishop's Finger and Tilmo on row 3. Strada Bad Boy Nolnik row 4. We have our reserve Charlie Bacon leading the 5th row with Pet Boy next to him. We have Division and Felipe Diazza next up, and rounding up the grid we have Artistic and the Mad Metis, who was not able to set a time. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, let's pick up the grid as they finish off their warm-up lap. Looks like there's no rain in the cards, certainly for the start of the race, so everyone looking to run with a dry strategy here today. Slowly but surely, the cars are starting to filter onto the grid with a little gap at the back. Looks like a couple of drivers are looking to pull a Lewis Hamilton and have everyone sit on the grid with some cold tires before they make their way through. Alright, the grid is lined up. Should see the lights shortly. Oh, we have a car that is driving on his own. Looks like Felipe Diaz has gone for a drive all on himself. Oh, here we are. The drivers are away, as a similar glitch from yesterday appears to have joined the fray. T Silva with a lunge looking to try and take P2 into the first corner. Unfortunately doesn't work, stays in P4. Looks like there's a little bit of jostling slightly further down the field. Looks like Why Not Be slides into third place successfully, as everyone on the grid makes it successfully through the first sector, so it appears. Felipe Diaz and the Mad Metis with great starts, gaining themselves 2 positions each as we come round to the first DRS zone that won't be relevant until lap 3. Here we have Nolnik and Tilmo fighting it out over P7 as people try and squabble for position at the earliest possible opportunity. Is anyone looking to make a move into this left-hander? Looks like people are playing it safe, although contact is almost made by P7 and P8 there. Let's keep an eye on Felipe Diaz, who's had a great start and is looking to put pressure on Charlie Bacon into 9th place. Oh, he's making a move into the last corner. Very unexpected from Felipe. However, he catches Charlie unawares and does take P9 himself with his sights set on Tilmo in front. Meanwhile, at the front, it looks like all the drivers have maintained position in the top 5, with Guitar Man putting a lot of pressure on Leclerc. It looks like only Petboy has made the decision to start on mediums to try and stretch it out and potentially make this a one-stop onto some softs at the end. It's possible. He will just potentially need the aid of a safety car. And Nolnik has retired from the session in Sector 1. Let's go on board with him, on board with Artistic to see what happened. And it looks like he just lost traction coming out of that fast left-hander and has unfortunately collided with the wall. It looks like Division has made some contact to get himself a 5-second penalty, as well as we have a VSC deployed. VSC for Nolnik, who has unfortunately retired from the session. Not a full safety car, however. So all drivers will be required to meet a delta that is slower than their usual pace as the marshals clear the track. Very unfortunate for Nolnik, who's looking to capitalize on his P2 from last week. And we have a very close train as everyone bunches up under the VSC. Charlie Bacon has taken his opportunity to pit, and we are back racing again. T Silva looking to take advantage, and unfortunately doesn't make the move stick. Why Not Be staying in third place despite a very valiant attempt from P6. Have a look at Bishop's Finger, who's now attacking Silva after he lost momentum from that attempted overtake on Why Not Beast for P3. LT Silva leaves enough room for Bishop's finger to slip on under the inside of him. Unfortunately, he is not able to make the move stick. However, with the DRS assistance before the braking zone, it looks like he's going to have the move sealed up and is up into P4. Very good start from Bishop's finger, who now sets his sights on the podium positions. We're just a little bit up the road. Looks like Mad Matters has made a move on Division and is now up into P10. Still very close racing. Ooh! And Division loses it coming out of that tricky left-hander. Has to whip it back around and get going with some very hot tires into the high-speed corner. You must be very careful here not to overdrive the car and spin again. Here we have LT Silva has made a pit stop, potentially having picked up damage from the slight contact he had with Why Not Beast at the start of the previous lap in his attempt to overtake. Unfortunately, drops too close to the back of the field, and Silva will have to make it up through the rest of the race, hopefully in his books with the help of a safety car. Now T Silva can set his sights on Charlie Bacon, our reserve driver, as he looks to fight his way back up the field. Looks like Guitar Man Khan, unbeknownst to us, has overtaken Leclerc into the left-hander there with the long DRS straight, obviously helping him get by. Guitar Man now P1 from Leclerc, who is now under threat from Why Not Beast just behind him. Here we have a very close battle for P5 with Tilmo and Estrada Bad Boy, with Felipe Diaz just behind them, only 1.2 seconds back. Looks like Estrada has unfortunately spun into the wall with a DNF being the result, and we have a full safety car on lap 4. Now it's a question of whether anyone pits from this position, as it is quite early in the race. There he is. Unfortunately losing it out of the long, tricky right-hander straight into the wall. It's like Division is taking the opportunity to pit. Let's see what he goes for here. As he serves the 5-second penalty he accrued under the VSC earlier. Looks like he has another fresh set of softs good to go. You would imagine that his strategy now is to stretch those as long as he can to slap on a set of mediums to make it to the end of the race. Now, as the leaders are coming around to eventually meet up with the safety car, let's see if any of them takes the opportunity to come into the pits and slap a set of medium or even hard tires on if they are feeling adventurous. Although given the history of this league and races with hard tires, it's inadvisable for someone this early in the race to put a set of hard tires on with so much fuel left on board. And it looks like Leclerc with the late lunge, as well as Guitar Man coming into the pits as they fight to see who gets into the pits first, and as a result, Guitar Man has himself a 5-second speeding penalty. It's going to be very curious to see what the stewards think of that move after the race, and it looks like the Mad Metis has retired under the safety car. Let's see if we can have a look at what happened to the Mad Metis. Having crashed into the pit wall entrance, it looks like. Felipe Diazza has been disqualified from the session as a result of overtaking the safety car. He must have not realized that he was the leader and needed to pick the safety car up, unfortunately leading to his disqualification and another driver out of the race from under safety car conditions. It's like Artistic has taken the chance and is slipping on a set of hard tires, hoping to make it to the end of the race with no more pit stops. Let's see if that pays off for him in the end, as if he makes it to the end of the race now, he will get himself some points. All he has to do is finish, which is proving tough for some of the people in this race so far. We have Nolnik, who DNF'd very early in the race, with Estrada Bad Boy following suit, bringing up the safety car with Mad Metis, then DNFing under safety car conditions. And in that time, Felipe Diazza, for overtaking the safety car as the leader, has gotten himself disqualified. Let's see how long the rest of the field takes to catch back up to the safety car, and maybe we can go racing at the end of this lap. Why Not Beast has retired from the session as well. What has happened here? Let us try to pick up with Artistic as he goes by, as the safety car is indeed coming in this lap. But Why Not Beast, potentially overly exaggeratingly warming up his tires, has put it into the wall and is out of the race. Here, Guitar Man on the restart. He's gone as late as possible and has not caught Leclerc off guard at all, with less than 10th behind him going into the first corner. Guitar Man keeps his lead over Leclerc as Pedboy makes a move up into P4 over Tilmo in that time. Everyone from the restart onwards has made a clean start, although anything is possible given how this last safety car period has gone. Here's Headboy looking to see if he wants to make a move onto Bishop's Finger, but thinks better of it. Of course, we have to wait a couple of laps after the safety car before DRS gets activated again. We had a short yellow flag, potentially for Tomo moving down the order, but that has quickly cleared itself. So we have Headboy looking to make a move on Bishop's Finger for third. Can he make it stick? Bishop's Finger locks up a little bit, but does keep hold of the position. Meanwhile, slightly further back, Division has overtaken Tilmo for P7 on some fresh softs. Division would be looking to see... Oh, but he has made contact as he's missing a front end plate. Unfortunately, this is meant to be his period to push to try and overtake with the fresh rubber, but it looks like he'll be having to make another pit stop, potentially along with Tilmo, due to contact in the first lap. We have Charlie Bacon back into the pits, followed by Tilmo and Division, all of them unfortunately suffering incidents just after the restart. Now that the drivers are starting to settle into somewhat of a rhythm, we should start to see small gaps appearing here and there. We do have some pairings currently forming right now, with a fight for the lead between Guitar Man Khan and Leclerc. We do also have a fight for P3 with Headboy chasing Bishop's Finger. With T-Silva just within range of them. We'll have to make up a couple of tenths though if he wants the power of DRS when it gets activated next lap. Charlie Bacon, unfortunately, with a 3-second penalty. Let's have a look at what the penalty situation currently is. Looks like Guitar Man, with that speeding penalty from the pits still to be served, is Worst off here with 8 seconds in penalties. T Silva, Artistic, and Charlie Bacon, the only others in the race with any penalties besides. Only 8 laps through this race though, so with a long way to go, we should start to see more of those add up as we reach the closing stages. Let's go on board Pedboy as he pushes to see if he can make a move into turn 1. It looks like he's not gaining enough space, but he does have DRS assistance coming up later on in the lap where he'll look to take advantage, with Bishop's Finger having lost the front two of Leclerc and Guitar Man. Here we have Leclerc keeping up with Guitar Man as Tilmo receives a 3-second penalty. Leclerc, by staying within the 1 second gap, will hopefully make a move on Guitar Mankind into the DRS set. Let's see if he has the pace here and how Guitar Man will try and defend, if at all. Barring Guitar Man's position, I would let it go, understanding that if I keep up with Leclerc, I'll catch it right back next lap and be able to retake the lead. Leclerc locks up slightly into the left-hander. It takes P1 ahead of Guitar Mankind. Meanwhile, for P3, Pedboy has not let Bishop's Finger overtake him. However, the longer this goes on, the better chance Bishop's Finger will have to make the place back. It's now crucial for Guitar Man to take advantage of the DRS and keep up with Leclerc, if not set him up for moves to overtake him. If Leclerc gets beyond that 1 second barrier, then there's a chance it may slowly start to pull away, unless Guitar Man can reel him back in. We have a yellow flag in Sector 3. It looks like Tilmo has unfortunately made contact with the wall. And while there may be no visual damage, he is having to deal with very hot tires right now. We'll see if he requires another pit stop. It's unfortunate for Tilmo, who's having a decent race, at least in the first stint. Having to save the car there as he still struggles with these hot tires. We're on board with Guitar Mankind into the DRS zone, where although he is closing, he is not close enough to make a move onto Leclerc. Although with the amount of pressure that he's able to keep up on him, if he can keep making Leclerc lock up like that, then he may gain the tire advantage as the stint goes further along. Here we have a fight between Artistic and Charlie Bacon for P6. Looks like Charlie was able to make that move stick before the braking zone thanks to the aid of DRS. Here we have Bishop's Finger and P5 now chasing after T Silva, who unfortunately spins it just as we come back on board with the group, and a virtual safety car has been deployed as T Silva drives off with no front wing whatsoever. He'd been making good progress back after his earlier incident, and unfortunately now we'll have to make an extra pit stop, but that one should hopefully see him to the end of the race, barring any other incidents. The drivers here have to stay very patient as the VSC continues through the remainder of their lap. They must be careful not to get too close to their delta, but must make sure not to lose too much time to the cars around them. It's a delicate balance as we have gone back green and we are underway with more racing. We have our closest battle on the track, and it happens to be for P1 with Guitar Man Khan staying within the 1 second range of Leclerc. Just about, though. If Leclerc finds 1 or 2 more tenths, we may start to see the gap slowly widen without the DRS assistance that Guitar Man's been receiving for the past few laps, as he sets a purple Sector 1. Let's see how much time he can make up. Unfortunately, with a poor exit out of that left hand, he's just over a second behind. But with DRS assistance, he'll be able to make up a few tenths back on Leclerc. As you can see into the braking zone, he brings it back down to 6.5 tenths, which will hopefully be enough to keep him in range for the DRS straight down the start-finish straight. Here we have a battle starting to form for P6 between Division Artistic and T Silver. Looks like Artistic and Silver have both gone wide. However, with the soft rubber that T Silver has, he's gotten a better run and is able to clear also with aid of DRS, which Artistic has not had. Back up to P7 for T Silver as he sets his sights now on Division. Let's get on board back again with Guitar Man Khan, this time only 7 tenths back, to see whether or not he can make progress on Leclerc, who holds station for now. Most importantly, right now, Guitar Man has holding next to all of his ERS in reserve, so when he knows he has the opportunity, will be able to deploy as much as he likes. And while we were on board with this battle, T Silver managed to make his way back up to P6 over Division, with his sights set on Charlie Bacon in front of him with a set of hard tires on. It'll be interesting to see how quickly he can catch up with Charlie and hopefully get himself back into the top 5 after a couple of very unfortunate incidents through the race. Here we have a battle between the two Haas boys, Tilmo and Artistic, giving each other more than plenty of room into this left-hander. However, as they both get going again, it looks like Tilmo will have the advantage, despite the fact that Artistic has DRS to try and catch back up with his teammate. So up to P8 for Tilmo, as he continues his charge back, again through the field, due to some unfortunate incidents earlier, as with T. Here we have the lead duo going into the long DRS straights again. It looks like where the pace stands that Leclerc is able to build up enough of an advantage at each lap, it seems, leading into this DRS zone so that he is not under threat come the end of it. This must be frustrating Guitar Man, who must be wondering what he needs to do to get by. Is a change of strategy in the cards? Does he come in for a set of soft tires sometime later in the race to try and change things up? and force others to pit and gain an advantage from it. Looks like we have T Silver here on Charlie Bacon, within range, 4/10 down. Let's see what he can do. Charlie is burning through his eRacing in the hopes of staying ahead. Same with T Silver. But he tries to move around the outside. Cannot make it stick as Charlie closes the door and he picks up a 3-second penalty for leaving the track. A little bit of contact between the two, but it looks like T Silver is almost through. Charlie with the dive bomb down into the long left-hander as he just about holds station into the very long fast right-hander. He trying to make a move into the penultimate corner of the lap rather than waiting for the DRS zone. And again with a move around the outside, this time with momentum, side by side with Charlie, slight contact being made. Can he get the move done? Charlie tries to stick with it by taking the inside line. They are still side by side. And he finally makes the move stick after a half lap of very hard battling there, with a valiant defense put up by Charlie, but unfortunately not able to keep up with the fresher, softer rubber of the Ferrari driver. While we've been keeping an eye on that close battle, it looks like Guitar Mankind has finally pushed home the DRS advantage to make a move on Leclerc. However, with Leclerc only 4/10 back, is in prime position to retake the lead heading into the first corner of the next lap. Great run out of the last corner. Let's see what he can do. Guitar Man is using his DRS to try and defend as Leclerc is not. And they hold station with Leclerc making a half effort around the outside. Just to remind Guitar Man that he's there. This battle continues on. This has been quite the battle for the lead, potentially for the win as they pulled away from Head Boy and the trailing pack. Here we go with Leclerc getting into the DRS zone, the prime overtaking opportunity on this track. Let's see if he is enough to get it done this time. And Guitar Man looking to weave a little bit to break the slipstream. However, Leclerc closes in and takes the inside line, getting squeezed to the inside by Guitar Man. Leclerc locking up the front left again, but makes the move stick and is back into the lead in front of Guitar Man, his rival. And there it is, there's the change of strategy. The undercut that we were potentially talking about with Guitar Man going into the pits with 11 laps to go, and one would probably see more soft tires come back on. It looks like the crew potentially has another set of mediums. Yes, that is what goes on to his car. So with the 5-second penalty served, Guitar Man is now back out, and it looks like he will have a clear piece of track around him in P4. Now with 12 laps to hunt down the top 3. Bishop's Finger, only 6 seconds up the road, is the next target for Guitar Man, assuming the others don't hit. Tilmo, unfortunately, with a 3-second penalty, as we have a couple others coming into the pits as well. Is Charlie Bacon in for a set of medium tires and a new wing? Let's see if it's the same for division. Medium tires, no wing change, and he comes out in front of Charlie and back out onto the track. Now this race has become a game of strategy and who has to pit again or not. With all the drivers here having a solid gap to one another, now having to rely on their pure pace to determine their position as opposed to DRS assistance. So currently out front on his own we have Leclerc in the Williams with a 12-second lead on Pedboy. With 11 laps left to go, they have to wonder as to when to make their final pit stop if they think they can't squeeze the life out of these mediums to make it happen. Let's keep an eye on Guitar Man for now with the fresh tyres as he has already halved the gap to Bishop's Finger in front. With less than 3 seconds gap, one would imagine within the next lap that he will meet the Mercedes driver. At the race of closing, it looks like Guitar Man Khan will have DRS leading into the start-finish straight of the next lap on Bishop's Finger. With Bishop's Finger nursing some older tyres as he peels into the pits, thus only giving Guitar Man Khan the DRS for one opportunity. Oh, and it looks like Bishop's Finger has not gone into the pits. I guess he made a last-minute call to stay out, and as a result is now almost 2 seconds behind Guitar Man with the older tyres that he has now decided to stick with. Guitar Man now has to set his sights on Pedboy, his championship rival, who is 8 seconds down the road. With 10 laps left, one would suggest that he has the ability to make that time up on such fresher rubber. Looks like we have a yellow flag in sectors 2 and 3. Potentially an issue for Artistic on his hard and medium tires. Guitar Man Khan there setting a purple sector 2. Where have we seen that before in this session? Looks like we have a close battle for P7 with Charlie Bacon having made up the time on division. And with much better run through those sets of corners, it looks like Charlie Bacon takes P7 away before the DRS zone, leaving himself potentially vulnerable to retaliation coming up to the straight. Division with a full set of ERS at his disposal as well is in prime position to retake P7 right here. And with the old switcheroo, he looks to take the inside line into the corner and makes it stick ahead of Charlie Bacon, who is down to P8. Meanwhile, we have P Silva and Bishop's Finger into the pits for one last change. Fresh soft tires on for both drivers. Guitar Man Khan now back up to P2 and in prime position to overtake the lead, assuming Leclerc, has to make one last pit stop. Leclerc is now the only driver out on Old Rubber, and there we go. Right on cue, he's into the pits. With only a 17-second gap on Guitar Man Khan, though, it looks like Guitar Man will reassume the lead of the race, with Leclerc having the opportunity to hunt him down on a fresh set of soft tires. And there goes Guitar Man retaking the lead, but what is the gap as Leclerc comes out of the pits? Just 1.5 seconds, leading to a very interesting prospect for the last 8 laps of this race. It looks like Charlie Bacon has retaken the position on division and moves to P6 again with the aid of DRS and the long straights. We could see this battle going on all the way till the flag, assuming division can keep up pace and within DRS range of Charlie. Within the first 2 sectors of the new set of tyres put on by Leclerc, it looks like he's gained about a half second on Guitar Man. At the race of closing here, it's only a matter of time before Leclerc retakes the lead. The only issue is whether or not his soft tyres can make it with pace to the end of the race. Here we go, with DRS activated, Leclerc is closing. Into the braking zone, and the gap is almost non-existent. Leclerc now having to be patient through this tricky sector, potentially holding back so that he can get the advantage of DRS to make the overtake happen. Guitar Man Khan now has to be feeling the pressure. Here we go, Leclerc is kept within range to be able to attack out of this corner. Great exit, already having to back off before the DRS zone, but gets back up to speed. And without fail, although there will be a squeeze from Guitar Man, they almost make contact. But Leclerc is through into P1 before the braking zone. With no answer from Guitar Man, now can Guitar Man keep up the pace and put himself in position to make another move for the lead, potentially 1 or 2 laps down the line? This has been incredible racing from both drivers throughout the majority of this race. We'll have to see if they can keep it up until the very end, or if Leclerc can pull away, how far can he clear Guitar Man by? Unfortunately, with the amount of defending that Guitar Man has put up, he has gone through the majority of his ERS supply, and now must very carefully manage it to be able to stay within striking distance and have a chance at overtaking Leclerc. And it looks like we're rotating back into the cycle where Guitar Man Khan stays within the 1 second, but it needs 1 or 2 laps to be able to mount a challenge on Leclerc. T Silva, unfortunately, with a 3-second penalty. Let's keep an eye on what the penalty situation is like right now. It looks like Charlie Bacon and T. Silva both with 12 seconds. Fortunately for them, it looks like those penalties won't currently make a difference on their finishing order, assuming things stay like this till the end of the race. Here we go, Guitar Man is staying very close to Leclerc over the first sector of lap 24. It looks like he may be doing his best to set himself up for an overtake into this turn. Leclerc goes very defensive to the inside immediately, hoping to break the toe. However, Guitar Man sticks with it. Will he lunge for it? No, he will save his overtaking opportunity for another day. Guitar Man right now may be thinking about potentially saving ERS and holding station up until the last lap and making a lunge into the left-hander after DRS on lap 28 itself, giving Leclerc no time to respond. Meanwhile, we have Charlie Bacon back into the pits, unfortunately with 20 seconds of penalties currently, looking to come out on the soft tyre to end the race and set some quick laps. Here we have Guitar Man Khan just about staying within DRS range. This is crucial for his race if he's to have a chance at overtaking Leclerc in the next 3 laps. Looks like Charlie Bacon has retired from the session, which leaves us with 8 drivers, gifting Artistic more points when he does eventually come around to pass him. Alright, Guitar Man, unfortunately 9/10 behind, leading up to this DRS straight. Will not be close enough to make a move. Unfortunately, he has to use more of his limited ERS resources too to catch up. While not thinking about it, Guitar Man does dive down the inside just to let Leclerc know that he is there and within striking distance, hoping to pressure him into a mistake as both are currently on 3 seconds in time penalties. Surely one more 3-second penalty from either driver will spell the end of their chances at a race victory here tonight at Kosa. And there it is, there's 3 seconds for Leclerc, our race leader currently, having picked up his 2nd time penalty of the day, now has a lot of work to do to be able to clear Guitar Man by 3 seconds by the end of the race. This is a time where Leclerc must now switch his mindset from defending to all-out attack, as he now needs to either figure out a way to pull 3 seconds out on Guitar Man or force Guitar Man into a mistake to level up the playing field once again. Can Guitar Man do anything this time around? He is slightly closer than he was last lap. However, with Leclerc having deployed more of his ERS, it looks like he will not be able to make a move this time around. Leclerc, however, locking up the inside front tire once again. That may be one of the factors keeping Guitar Man in the hunt despite being on the slower tire, is the overworking of Leclerc leading into that braking zone. And there's Guitar Man Khan with his second 3-second penalty of the race. We are back to a level playing field as mentioned earlier. Now there is no penalty advantage, and Guitar Man has to win the race on the road once again. Incredible last few laps here, as either driver would have had the win in the bag had they kept it cleaner. Unfortunately, though, with hard racing and chasing a victory, it's understandable as to the drivers pushing the limits, particularly when it comes to corner cutting or track extending. Guitar Man Khan this time keeping very close, within 3/10 to Leclerc, as Leclerc is feeling the pressure coming into the last two real overtaking opportunities of this race. Let's see if Guitar Man Khan can have himself a nice exit out of this left-hander. He is taking it well, but so is Leclerc. Guitar Man is closer than he was over the last 2 laps to make a move. Let's see if he can make something happen right now. He's closing, but it feels like he needs a little bit more straight to be able to make the move. Leclerc holding station and keeping Guitar Man at bay for one more lap. The chances are now dwindling for Guitar Man as he has 2 more DRS zones before the end of the race. Let's see if he can pull something out of the bag or force Leclerc into a mistake, thus gifting him the win. And here we go into the final lap of the race here at round 5 of the Tier 2 Americas Championship in PRL. We have Leclerc in first place with Guitar Man just behind him. They have been battling all race for this victory, and it is fitting that it comes down to the very last lap to decide who will be the victor. Guitar Man is all over Leclerc, pressuring him into making a mistake. Looks like both drivers have backed off, leading into the last straight. Leclerc was trying to back off to get himself DRS into the final overtaking opportunity, but it did not work. And here we go with Guitar Man 4/10 behind. What can he do? Leclerc is defending the middle of the road, but will take the inside line and positions his car perfectly to deny Guitar Man the opportunity, and as a result, Guitar Man spins out. Having lost the last opportunity to win the race, he has spun out. Now, can he get it spun back around in time and recover to hold on to P2? He has quite the gap to Pedboy, so unless he spins again on those hot tires, he will consolidate P2 in this race. And now, coming around the last couple of corners, having fought a very hard race, holding off Guitar Man Khan the entire way, is Leclerc of Williams, who is going to be your winner of the United States Grand Prix. Guitar Man Khan, after a valiant effort and a hard-fought battle, comes home P2. Pedboy, despite having another quiet weekend, has managed to stick himself onto the podium yet again. And your points leader will stay your points leader into the next round. And on the final lap of the race, Pedboy earning himself the fastest lap, thus guaranteeing an extra point. Well done from the championship leader, being able to get a result despite not being in the hunt for the victory. We have Bishop's Finger, who's rejoined us, finishing in P4 with a very strong return to racing for him here. T Silver comes home P5 after a frustrating race, but good recovery to manage to salvage the top 5. Here we have Division with no helmet coming home to take P6, assuming he keeps it in line these last couple of corners. And here we have the second Williams in P6 for the day. Tilmo comes home to take P7. And we have Artistic coming around the last couple of corners to finish up the race and get Haas its second point score of the weekend here. And there we have it. There is your race. Congrats to Leclerc for an excellent drive, and to Guitar Man Khan for keeping him honest the entire way through. Head Boy Championship leader sticking on the podium again, despite having himself a quiet race behind the top two. And there you have your final results, ladies and gentlemen. Congrats to Leclerc for his strong victory today, and the other drivers for making it to the end. All of the drivers here up until P8 all getting points for make it to the end. But thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching what's been a fantastic race in Tier 2 in the Americas of PLR. We will catch you again next week for round 6. For now, take care and bye-bye.